I mean, I watched Double Dare. Is that similar?
Uh, no. Yes, no.
Oh.
The Legend of the Hidden Temple and a bunch of those other shows were like Double Dare on crack.
Hmm.
Because Double Dare, they
Okay.
did have the course to run and stuff, but it was like really simple and tame and the type of thing that they might set up on a variety show or something like that. These
Yeah.
these type of shows they had like Legend of the Hidden Temple and Guts was another show along that same line. They had like an entire warehouse crafted to be the courses and obstacles and stuff that people would run. It was much more along the lines of like say American Gladiators.
What about American Ninja Warrior? Did you ever see that?
Um, yeah, I've seen American Ninja Warrior. I've been watching Ninja Warrior for years. I used to watch the English dub of the old Sasuke on
Oh,
G4 when they
yeah,
picked it up originally. They just called it Ninja Warrior here before we actually
yeah.
had our own course. Actually, I like the old Ninja Warrior
Mhm.
way more than ours. Ours is kind of weak sauce
Yeah.
and it's more gamed. It's less like an honor thing. It's actually like a competition that people are trying to win for a prize.
Hmm. Well, I liked the Japanese version of Iron Chef a lot better than the American
Yeah.
one.
Though I do have to say, Bobby Flay is the man. So
No, I can't even remember the names of the chefs, but I remember they were awesome
yeah.
in the Japanese one.
Oh yeah, they are. I believe what's his name? The guy who runs the American Iron Chef is actually the
Hmm.
nephew of the original commissioner of Iron Chef.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, supposedly.
yeah. No, no,
I
you could
don't
actually
I don't know if
get the connection.
yeah, well, I mean, but they were just actors, right? I mean, I think they were just actors. I don't know if they were actually related.
Yeah, no, they
It's
are.
it said that in the they were. Oh, well, I believe it, but
Yeah,
the commissioners, yes, yeah, Chen Kenichi, Masahiko Kobe, those were my
yeah.
favorites.
Oh, I like Kobe. Yeah.
Hiroyuki Sakai.
Nice. I watched both of them. I was really big in Iron Chef for a while.
Oh, Rokusaburo
Yeah.
Michiba. He was the Japanese one.
Well,
That
see,
was
I
awesome.
like Japanese competitions in general better because even if there's a prize, that's not the reason why people are competing,
Hmm.
right? And it's because Japan still kind of has like an honor culture to it. So when they're competing to win, right? Like having the
Hmm.
honor of being the victor is the number one goal when they compete. It's not like here where the reason you get people to sign up is strictly because, oh boy, look at that $1 million prize we're dangling in front of you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't have that problem with the American Iron Chef though, because it didn't seem like the people competing were doing it for that reason. It did seem very similar to the original Iron Chef, and it's because they were attracting like already skilled like culinary arts professionals, not like random people off the street or anything like that.
Hmm. Well, yeah. So, I hate to burst your bubble, but yeah, like in the original, the Chairman Kaga,
Yeah.
his name was Takeshi Kaga. Well, he's a stage actor. His name was Shigekatsu Katsuda.
I want you to look at my face and everything I've said as if I was serious this whole time.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out who the chairman's nephew was. Oh wait,
Yeah.
here we go.
Nobody ever has anything to do with any of this stuff.
Yes, martial artist Mark Dacascos.
Hmm.
Totally, totally. He was the nephew
Yeah,
of the
no, totally. He
chairman.
was the
Yeah.
nephew. Yeah.
Hmm. Totally.
Anyway, we were talking about Legend of the Hidden
It,
Temple.
it,
But before we get
it was
into it,
fun. Yeah.
Welcome to the Vomitorium. As always, I am your host, The Metal, and joining me is my co-host, Marsupial Gamer. How you doing today?
Good. A little
All right.
hot for some reason.
I am
Turn down the
too.
temperature. It's still hot.
What's weird is it was like there was a thunderstorm going on all day, and I'm still a little hot.
Oh, great. That means we're going to get a thunderstorm like
Yeah.
tonight.
If it's heading up that
Probably.
way, probably. I don't know which direction it was coming from.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know.
If
We
it was
just had a
coming from the
thunderstorm.
Rockies, you're probably getting it.
Well, I'm sure it's coming from the west somewhere, but I don't know if it was going north or south. I'll have to look.
Yeah. It was a loud one too, man.
You know.
I had trouble getting to sleep. Normally, I could sleep through a thunderstorm, absolutely no problem. But there had to have been a crack nearby, like we actually hit something. Did you hear about the solar storm coming? That's actually one of the two things we were going to talk about, Mr. Squeakers. So which of the two would you rather talk about first?
Well, why were we talking about
Legend of the Hidden
Legend of
Temple?
the Hidden Temple?
Because it's getting
Yeah.
rebooted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk
It's
about that.
yeah. It's actually current news. So the CW, which I believe is owned by the same corporation that owns Nickelodeon, so they have the full rights to do this. What was the other? I'm trying to remember. It's CBS, yeah. The CW is part owned by CBS and WB. That's where they get the letters for CW from. And they are rebooting Legend of the Hidden Temple, but this time around, adults are going to be running the courses. Now, for people who've never seen it, Legend of the Hidden Temple was a show on Nickelodeon around the time that I was growing up. And it was an obstacle course show, kind of like a physical game show, similar to Guts, which was also airing at that time. And it was all like Aztec themed or Mayan themed. I really couldn't pin it. I think it's closer probably to the Olmec people, because even the talking statue face's name was Olmec, so that was probably actually a clue to what the theme was. But it did seem a little mixed all over the place because they just weren't that precise. It's a kids game show, for crying out loud, right? But they would have to do
from
things
the
like
90s?
yeah.
Is this from the 90s?
Yeah. And you
Go
know
ahead.
everybody's trying to capitalize on that 90s nostalgia right now.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, you try to capitalize on the nostalgia of your current buying base, and right now, the current buying base are specifically young millennials, not even old millennials, right? We've already moved into like young millennials are the people that are running around buying things and watching shows. Soon, it's going to be old Zoomers, and we're just going to have to capitalize on nostalgia from like the mid to late aughts. It's, it's moving along.
I guess.
Right? That's how everybody does
Funny,
it.
here-
I think it's dumb to run nostalgia that way.
Yeah. I don't know. It's probably more the people, the showrunners, their nostalgia, whatever they're nostalgic for, that's what they want to do.
Well, I'm sure there are probably
Up there.
like people my age working on it, but the decisions are probably coming from older people who run the companies. Like they're pitching it and be like, yeah. If you think that'll sell to people your age, of course, let's do it. Right?
Yeah.
They're just looking for
Funny,
money.
I'm just looking this up because I vaguely remember this, but I think it might have been like after my time. Like I don't think I was watching Nickelodeon at this time. But it's funny, there's an article on Collider from April 2013 saying, Hollywood, adapt this, Legends of the Hidden Temple. My case for a reboot or a feature treatment of the 90s game show.
Well, they actually did do a movie recently, too, of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was pretty dumb. I think it went straight to TV, but it was like a Nickelodeon movie. It was like an actual story about them going through the hidden temple. Like it was like a Tomb Raider type movie, and it was dumb. And I don't think that's what anybody wanted. So this show is probably more along the line. I do like Flit's comment. They couldn't find enough American kids who weren't too fat to do the obstacle courses, so they had to use adults. I mean, how many adults are you gonna find? I should sign up.
I
I
guess
could
there's
probably
more
create that.
adults than kids.
I could probably
Hmm.
destroy that show. Um, but
Is
yeah,
it
so
being
they would
filmed in
do.
Hollywood?
I have no clue.
Mhm.
I think they used to do. Let's see. There were two studios where they used to film these things, and I don't remember which one.
Mhm.
A lot of Nickelodeon shows were filmed at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. And a lot of other stuff were filmed in Burbank,
Oh yeah,
which is like not Hollywood. Like if you
yeah.
were to put in quotations, a lot of the filming just gets done in Burbank. So they might be
Mhm.
using that, or they might just have a new studio. I mean, it's CW, right? It's not like they might be using the old Nickelodeon studio. Somebody bought one of the warehouses in Burbank that had the aggro crag in it from Guts and actually was like charging people to let them climb it for a while. And
Mhm.
the aggro crag was like the final stage to Guts. So similar, this game show was broken down into multiple stages. There were usually like a question and answer phase, and the points in the question and answer phase would like help you towards the victory and the trivia, I guess another way of saying it. They would be broken down into teams. There'd be like what was like the Silver
You want to hear?
Jaguars. They would all be like color and an animal, and there'd be like three teams, right? And you'd have like two
You want to
people
hear
competing on each
something?
one.
Something interesting.
Sure.
You know where the CW films
Where?
most of their shows?
Burbank?
In Vancouver, Canada.
Vancouver.
Vancouver, Canada.
No, I believe that. Because I knew that's where Supernatural was filmed. Because I happen to
Hmm.
live with a
It
Supernatural
says
mega fan.
it says a majority of externals and locations
Mhm.
for like Flash and Arrow are from Portland, Oregon,
Yeah.
like the cityscapes and stuff. But all of the studio, like there's like seven shows that CW films in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Interesting. Sorry,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
go on.
I
Different
doubt
teams.
that the game show is going to be filmed in Vancouver because they need people to actually go there. And especially with the way COVID regulations and stuff are, I think it'd be kind of difficult to get contestants
Hmm.
over borders and
Oh,
everything.
yeah,
It'll
that's a good
probably actually
question.
be filmed somewhere in the States. Plus, it's for like TV shows and stuff. I don't think you usually do game shows in the same locations that you film your like highly produced TV shows.
Yeah,
In fact, I wouldn't be
I'm
surprised if they
curious.
did it at one of the Universal Studios just because it'd be convenient for rounding up people.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but yeah, so you would be divided into like there'd be three teams. Each team would have like a color and an animal. I know for a fact one was like the Silver Jaguars. I can't remember what the other one, but they all sounded like team names at a school almost, right? And you and your partner would be competing. There'd be two of you. There'd be trivia. There would be challenges. Like one of them would be hopping between platforms over water and stuff like that. And then the final round would actually be running through Olmec's temple. And
Cool.
it would be almost like a relay race where you had I think like the two chances. You would send somebody in first. They would try to get the three pieces to the puzzle as fast as they could. But if they triggered one of the guards in the temple, they would get like picked up and carried away. And then you'd be tagged in, and you'd have to like the second person would have to go and try to finish where they left off. I think you're trying to get like
Sounds cool.
God, it was like these three pieces would form together to make like a monkey, right? It was like the keys of the silver monkey, and you were trying to make this monkey, put it on the pedestal, and that was
Hmm.
how you solved the temple. And it was like this really big maze, and almost like a side-scrolling platformer that you could see the whole thing from the side, and you would see like the person running through and everything. It was a really cool show. It was,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm excited to kind of see it. and see what kind of idiots try to do it these days. I feel like the
Yeah,
kids are probably
really.
going to be more
Like,
competent than the people who are watching it as kids.
probably. Well, I can't figure out. I just done a brief Google search. I can't
Yeah,
figure out where they're filming it, but I will
yeah.
fly you there and you can compete.
It's funny too. Is like what would be really hilarious is because of the age gap. They'd be a little bit older now because most of the people competing at the time that was going would probably be like a half generation step above me. They'd be closer to Dillard's age, right? But
Mhm.
that means there's some of them, if they kept fit, they'd still be able to recompete. If we got a return competitor from the old days, just
Yeah,
like they flew them in, that'd be pretty cool.
totally good. I mean, yeah, I guess they'd be like my age.
Yeah, yeah.
So mid 40s,
They'd be
something like that.
I want to maybe not
Early
that old.
40s.
They were most of the people competing. They were just like a few years older than me. They'd probably be like mid to late
Mhm.
30s, maybe just turning 40, like somewhere in that area.
Yeah. I can get in shape and compete.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it
Totally could.
wasn't like it was super hard. I could see somebody in their 40s still doing that. It's not like you're
Yeah.
trying to run
Well, are they
Ninja
gonna,
Warrior or something.
yeah, are they gonna have like 20 something super athletic people, or are they gonna
I
have
no,
like
I
middle-aged
have no
people?
idea who it's gonna be.
Yeah.
But so like these kids running it though, they were all fairly athletic kids, right?
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't say they're not like Guts, where Guts specifically, it was almost like when you see the people that you know are going to complete most of the stages in Ninja Warrior when they do the interview and stuff. Guts specifically
Hmm.
picked 3 kids for each episode who were like athletic competitors for their age level. Like they have
Yeah.
some type of medal or something in some regional competition for their age. So Guts had like the real athletic kids, but the kids competing on Legend of the Hidden Temple were like well-rounded, fairly athletic individuals that you would expect to be able to compete in like state fair
Yeah.
level competitions and stuff like that.
Well, it looked like there was like a rock climbing wall they sometimes
Yeah.
had to do and stuff like that. So you got in somewhat good shape for that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if I could ever have done that as a kid. I was pretty chubby, so
I was a very athletic kid,
yeah.
but I was a little too young to be competing on those shows. Well, except for Guts, I think
Yeah.
by the end of Guts, I was probably at the lower level because I was starting to see some kids my age on there. Because I saw some like 9 and 10 year olds, and that's about how old I was when that show ended.
Hmm.
I always wanted to climb the aggro crag.
Was that something from Guts or the other
Yeah, that
one?
was from Guts. So Guts was in many ways even closer to American Gladiators, and it was a competition. There'd be 3 individuals running it, and they would have things where like they would attach you to like a harness thing, like a bouncing harness, tether rope, right? And you'd be jumping, you'd be
Hmm.
trying to shoot basketball hoops, but um, you'd be shooting hoops that are like way far away, real high, and you have to use the bounce to be able to get to the right level and everything, and all kinds of just little random competitions. But at the very end of every episode, the 3 people had to compete for the competition that was worth the most points, and that was climbing the aggro crag. And the aggro crag was this like mountain that they built inside the warehouse.
Hmm.
That I think it was a few stories tall too, but it was a mountain. They were all on harnesses. It was safe for the kids to be running it. But it was like they would have smoke shoot up like from smoke machines. They would have like emulated snow and stuff come down on top of you, like powder and everything. They'd even have like foam boulders running down the mountain while you were trying to climb it. With like the place was dim with like neon lights shooting up. It's like, man, I want to climb that thing. I still want to climb that thing, but I didn't have the money to go when that guy was running it, the guy who bought it. You
So
imagine just having the
you
money to
want
buy something like that?
to? That'd be pretty awesome. You want to see what's about to happen to me?
What's about to happen to you?
This. You'll have to share it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, hey.
Yes,
Okay, yep.
it's coming at me. Ah. Actually, it looks like the worst of it's gonna miss me. And
Yeah,
most of
no,
it's
because
going into Mobile.
the worst of it kind of just went right under me, but we still
South.
had it pretty bad. You see that big
Yeah,
heavy
yeah,
red spot.
yeah. It'll be a little bit to the south, but we'll get a little bit of rain. But anyway, I'll
Yeah.
stop.
Well, actually, you know what? Speaking of the weather, this is pissing me off. There was a Windows update. I don't know why it did it. It didn't even ask me. But now I've got this little weather thing on my taskbar that has like
Hmm.
a pop up to it as well if you hold it, and it's like your interests. And I even went to the taskbar
Oh.
settings to see if there was a way to disable interests or remove it, and there isn't inherently. I might have to look somewhere else for it, but it's not in the actual taskbar settings menu.
Hmm. That's weird.
Yeah. And it's bothering me because I've passed my mouse over it twice now and the pop-up has come up each time.
Hmm.
And it's at this point that I'm like half tempted to just remove my taskbar altogether. Not even hide it, just yeet my taskbar out of the computer. I'll have to just, control alt delete up frickin' task manager anytime I want to open up a program.
Hmm. Yes. Well, according to Google, you should be able to right click and
I did right click and
choose
nothing happened.
customize and really.
Yeah.
It should says you're supposed to be able to turn it off.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't have it.
There's no customize option on the right click.
Bastards.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're technical. I'm sure you can figure it out.
Yeah, yeah. I'll figure it out soon.
Yeah.
It was just bothering me because I didn't notice it until we were like I was setting up to go live because I really didn't have a bunch of things on my taskbar until I have to open up all these windows. And
Hmm.
as it started getting closer, I'm like, why the fuck is that there? So I really haven't had too
See,
much time to troubleshoot it yet. But there wasn't
yeah.
like it wasn't in the taskbar setting menu.
Hmm. So you just got the 20H update recently, right?
Something like that, yeah. But there was also a quality of life update that came shortly after it.
Yeah. Well, there was supposed to be an update recently, and it may have been like a preview thing. So I don't know if it's available like widely yet. But there was an issue where sometimes Windows would just have this race condition. Your CPU would just get pegged with nothing running. And they
Mm.
recently just fixed that for a lot of people. So if you have that, check out your Windows updates and
Oh
see.
well, my Windows hasn't been doing that anyway, so that probably came with the quality of life.
Hmm.
That was a
Maybe,
much
yeah.
newer dated update than the one that I was supposed to get a year ago, but Asus was on their ass about getting it done. Like we got to make
Hmm.
sure it's completely compatible with all of our computers first. None of them individually,
Yeah.
every single laptop.
I get that occasionally. Like my entire computer will just freeze up, and I usually blame Discord, but sometimes it happens when Discord's not open. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. Maybe that update. I don't know if I got that update or not, but hasn't happened recently, thankfully. Do you have an activated copy of Windows?
Of course I do. It came with my laptop when I bought it.
Oh, right. You're on a laptop. Yeah. You're on an OEM version.
Yep.
So we were talking yesterday. I know we'll get to the sunspots, but we were talking yesterday about this unspeakable game jam.
Yes, yes, yes. Has there been anything cool that came out of it?
I don't know. I just noticed that there's an article on it now, and I don't think there was one yesterday.
Oh, there was when I was
But
reading off of it.
apparently, yeah, they're taking submissions to join the game jam up until June 12th, and you basically have to create a game. I mean, all game jams, you create a game over
Yeah.
a weekend. I guess this is going to be kind of remote game jam. But I guess the topic is going to be unspeakable games. So I guess adult related video games, or as Apple calls them, unspeakable.
What's funny is that none of the games that Apple would call unspeakable are using the unspeakable tag for their game.
Yeah, that's a
And
new
the
tag, right?
Yeah, yeah, and the people who are using the tag as a joke, their games are actually kind of tame.
They're speakable.
Yeah, they're speakable. Um, but yeah, no, they specifically picked June 12th because they said that's about as long as the joke will still be funny. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. It might be a little late. That's funny.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, could make it just a bunch of gibberish text that literally could not be spoken. I was thinking something along the line, or maybe a game that had ambient music, but every time the character went to talk, like no sound would ever come out. But make it seem like there was sound programmed to be there. It's just the character can't speak.
Mhm. Or it could be some sort of word jumble kind of
Yeah.
board game, kind of like Taboo.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
ever play Taboo? Something like that, only call it unspeakable. All words,
Yeah.
but yeah, they
I
have to
got
have
some
gamer words in
gamer
the
words
title.
for you.
Hmm
Fuck.
Yeah, like Konami code. That's a gamer word. ABBA, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Anyway, solar winds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're getting a huge solar storm coming through. Supposedly tomorrow is when it's supposed to hit, right? Um, it was from what I actually have it pulled up, but it was an M class. What specifically was it supposed to be? It's projected to be an M3.9 class solar storm, like of the flare running through. Now, for people who don't know what a solar storm is, it's just a solar flare. It's a huge amount of radiation and heat, like a cloud of plasma that is coming off of the sun. It's mostly radiation. There's hardly any actual matter in it. That gets projected out. All stars shoot out ejections of plasma and radiation periodically. This looks to be the largest flare we're getting in this cycle, though, that we've been measuring. Which I
Hmm
find that kind of a lofty statement, being the fact that they just declared the cycle starting back in December of 2019. It's like, well, how long do you think? You think just here at the beginning of this cycle, after you just said the sun reached a solar minimum and it's going towards a max, this is the largest storm we're going to projected to get? I don't know if I believe that statement. Um, But yeah, so to break down the classes, so people can get a frame of what's going on, solar storms or flares specifically are broken down into 5 classes: A, B, C, M, and X. With A being mostly like background levels of radiation, small flares that you wouldn't even really detect. There's nothing visual to them. Even like radio detectors barely pick them up. But with
hmm
each class, it goes up an order of magnitude. So B is 10 times that of A. C would be 100 times that of A. M would be 1,000 times. And X would be 10,000 times, going up an order of magnitude each one. So
hmm
C is normally what you expect from like an actual detectable flare, something that may create like an aurora in the north or south pole, because the way the Earth magnetic field works is it just kind of redirects most of the radiation and energy to the poles. It creates like a bubble that way that scrunches in with our magnetic field.
hmm
Being an M class is going to be 10 times more potent than what normally causes an aurora. And people near the poles, so even as far as where you consider the Arctic Circle, right? People in northern Scandinavia, Iceland, and stuff. Maybe even definitely anybody who's researching in the South Pole is going to get something. Maybe any
Yeah.
shipping stuff there. I don't know if it'll even reach either of the capes at the bottom of the continents that are closest to the South Pole. It could, but they might be getting radio interruptions, GPS interruptions. If you live in Iceland and you don't know how to get from your house to the store, probably just stay home or have somebody else run because your GPS isn't going to tell you how to get there. I
Yeah.
don't know why on such a small place you wouldn't know how to get to your local store, but I'm not going to judge people. At least not out loud.
Yeah. So it's mainly just potentially interfering with satellites that are already in
Satellites
space.
and radio frequencies within that area just because of the high amounts of electrical discharge that will be happening due to the flares being redirected into the poles.
So you're saying the world is not going to end on my birthday?
No, no.
Because it
We have
says
a
it's
really
getting here.
strong security net around our planet. That's
Oh yeah.
probably the reason why life even evolved here in the first place, because without it, I doubt we would survive.
Yeah, considering isn't one of the reasons Mars is so barren because it doesn't have magnetic field?
Yes, as far as we could tell, it does not have a rotating core, which
Hmm.
the amount of liquid metal rotating around our core is what creates the electromagnetic field. There's a lot of electrostatic
Yeah.
discharge from that.
Iron specifically.
Yes. Our our core is mostly iron, nickel, and cobalt. For more iron than anything in the liquid section. The denser
Hmm.
section is heavily nickel, but there's still iron and stuff there too. Because it's
Yeah.
more nickel than iron, that's what allows it to stay solid, and it's
Hmm.
also closer to our center of gravity, so it presses in.
Right, right.
But
So
yeah,
yes, thank our magnetic field for
yeah. Anybody
not
who's seen
not
the
being
movie The
dead.
Core has a rudimentary understanding of what's going on, even if that
Hmm.
movie was wrong about some very specific things when it comes to the science of the electromagnetic field. It was pretty right from like a non-expert perspective.
Hmm. What was the movie with Nicolas Cage where it was predicted the end of the world was predicted, and then it turned out it was a solar flare that actually was so big it actually touched the Earth.
Oh,
It's crazy. But,
what was the name of that
uh,
one?
there's the one where
No, I
he
know what you're
opened up a
talking about
time
too.
capsule,
Yeah,
yeah, and had all these dates on it when all these horrific things happened.
because I watched it
But
like not too long ago.
I'm sure I
God,
can
what was the
find
name
it.
of that one? That's a good movie.
Cage disaster movie. Knowing what it was.
Knowing, okay. It's
Called
always those like
Knowing.
one word movies, right? That
Yeah.
you know,
What if, let's say, Teoken?
yeah,
What
it
does
looks
that
like it's
mean?
saying Taioken. I don't know.
Does that mean the world's going to end in 2 days on my birthday?
It
I
sounds familiar.
don't know.
Oh, that's how you say solar flare in the Dragon Ball move. I'm used to
Oh,
hearing the
okay.
English version of it, and it's when he goes solar flare. That's why he has the hands like that next to his face.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that what he said? Isn't there someone in Street Fighter? He says Teoken.
No. That's a he goes Shoryuken.
Oh,
That's when he does the uppercut.
okay.
Yeah. Which
Oh, sure.
Shoryuken means like rising dragon fist or heaven dragon fist.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's
And
the
then
Ryu
here
in
comes.
Shoryuken is dragon.
Gotcha.
So
Here
anytime you
comes
see
Joshua with
Ken,
the baby.
yeah, Ken means fist in Japanese.
Hmm.
So like anytime you see a move that's got Ken at the end, it's basically like this is if I'm hitting you,
Hmm.
but with something other than my fist.
So is Taoken basically a sun
It's a
fist?
sun fist, yeah.
Yes. Sun's
And
about
like
to
a
smack it.
Hadoken is like it's like something flying fist is basically what it means. It's like if you had shot a projectile fist at somebody.
Just like Green Lantern in the best MCU movie ever. By the same name.
Um,
So we were, I was gonna
Trying to
say, we
remember.
were discussing the Council of Joshua's in Rick's chat earlier,
Oh, okay.
or the fight of the Joshua's, and whether or not all Joshua's look alike, all that kind of stuff. In case you missed it, that was the discussion in Rick's chat.
I was kind of busy, so I came in. I was nice. I gave him a like, and then I had to dip out and continue doing what I was doing.
Okay, very good. Well, I told everyone in there if you wanted to continue the discussion, come on the Vomitorium, and we would be continuing to talk about something anyway.
Well, you know what's funny
So,
is speaking of Dragon Ball and the move Solar Flare is impossibly, but these due to magic or what other type of excuse, the speed of light in Dragon Ball has to be much faster than the speed of light in our world. Which might also explain a lot of other things. Well, it's because like there are characters that if you look at the distance that they cover and the amount of time that they're covering, they have to be moving much faster than light. Actually, even back in the old days of Dragon Ball, the first tournament that they go to where Master Roshi and Krillin fight, they're already approaching relativistic speed when they break down their fight that took like a couple seconds, and then it takes like the next 10 minutes of the episode for them to break down the fight in slow motion for everybody to understand what's going on who couldn't see it. So like they're already like approaching relativistic speeds right there.
well,
And yeah, it's fiction. So the problem is as they get faster and faster than light, solar flare can still blind people that are like a million times faster than light. So
interesting.
they might be
Well,
faster than light in our universe, but that doesn't mean they're faster than light in their universe. It might have different
yeah,
physical properties than ours.
because theoretically, I mean, in our universe, interesting thing about relativistic speeds
Yeah.
is that no matter how fast you go, light is always going at the speed of light in
Yeah.
comparison to you. So in other words, you could go 0.99% the speed of light. Well, light's going to go whizzing by you at the speed of
Yeah.
light, right? Basically, because time slows down for you.
Yeah. So
But
I don't know if this was intentional because I don't think Toriyama's that smart of a person. It's probably accidental. But thanks to the move Solar Flare, scaling up with every single individual in the series, none of them are faster than light in their context, but they would be
yeah.
way faster than light in our context.
So yeah. So yeah, but that does prove that somehow in the Dragon Ball
Yeah.
universe, light apparently moves faster than it does in our universe.
Oh, it has to. Like orders of magnitude faster.
Or else they just didn't think about it.
Yeah.
Or like somehow that move is boosted by the Speed Force or something.
Something, I don't know. They're boosted by their ki. They're just that
Yeah,
Chad.
that's right. They can move light faster than the speed of light. Obviously.
Well, they can already move plasma faster than the speed of light, so why not?
Well, I've always wondered, like, if Flash can move faster than the speed of light due to the Speed Force,
Yeah.
does he move faster, or like, is the way that he goes back in time that he moves faster than the speed of light, or does he have to go like orders of magnitude faster. It's never clear to me.
So that's actually changed a lot throughout the years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the modern way, time travel actually has nothing to do with the speed of light in DC. It has to do with entering the Speed Force itself, which exists on a layer higher than any of the inner worlds do.
I see.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been watching too many of those MC animated movies, or I mean DC animated movies.
Yeah. But the thing
So
is, like, the
whatever.
Speed Force is a really bad explanation because it kind of it's supposed to affect everything, right? But then there are
Mm-hmm.
characters that are faster than the Speed Force. And I'm not even saying like characters who are above the Speed Force. There are characters within Flash's own realm of existence that
Mm-hmm.
are faster than the Speed Force because of just how inconsistent the world is. Superman at times have been faster than the Speed Force,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you expect gods like Mercury or Hermes or something like that to be faster because they in the context of DC they exist on a plane that's even outside of the Speed Force. If you look at the modern cosmology, there's the worlds, right? The Earths. Then the Speed Force binds around all of them, so they're kind of all within the same layer connected by it. But then outside the Speed Force, there's like the heavens and the hells, and that's where all the abstracts of the gods live. And then there's the source wall around them. So like you expect somebody like Mercury to be faster than anyone on the inside of the Speed Force wall. But then you have Superman that just ends up outspeeding everybody in certain situations because fuck it, he's Superman.
Yeah. Just because. So at our latitude, are we going to be affected at all by this solar flare?
Probably not.
Being...
Like for us, it's probably going to be as if nothing happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah.
Or
I
happy.
mean, we get to see, we're on the internet. That's the cool thing about everybody being connected these days, right? There's a lot of crappy things about everybody being connected, but there's some cool things too. Like
Mm-hmm.
getting to see people's photos of the auroras and stuff that are going to happen from this.
Yeah.
Uh, so the largest flare
That's
we've
cool.
ever recorded was actually in the category of X, which will be, let's see, it was. I'm looking for the exact number.
Is that the Carrington event?
Well, that wasn't a recorded solar flare. That's an estimated event.
Mm.
That actual recorded was an X28, which is really high
Mm-hmm.
in observable history, and that was November 4th, 2000, I think. And that didn't hit us, thank God. That was in the other direction. We were just able to observe it through optical equipment. But that would be obviously an order of magnitude higher. But judging by what you say, like the scales get finer, that would probably be more than 10 times closer to 2.6 times. So 26 times larger than what we're going to get hit with. That would affect all of us if that hit.
Mm-hmm.
We'd probably it wouldn't be devastating. Again, we have a really strong magnetic field, but that we'd probably see like random blackouts and stuff like that. That would take a bit of time to fix. Some things would be surges. So in certain areas, it'd be the equivalent of an EMP went off. Some equipment would be fried if it had too much energy going through it. But thankfully, nothing like that's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're directional, right? So
Yeah.
as we're rotating around the sun, it could shoot off a huge solar storm in some other direction.
Yeah. Well,
Behind
we're
us or
getting
in
the
front of
smaller
us.
one. There's two that shot out. One's going towards Mars.
Oh,
Yeah. So
huh.
hopefully that won't, knock out any of the equipment we have there. I think they said due to rotation, our current rover should be on the other side of the planet when it hits, so it should be fine. But it's really hard to predict exactly when it's going to hit. So yeah, hopefully our equipment's fine. It's got a backup battery. It should be able to restart. It's a much bigger flare, but not in the next order magnitude. It's just a large size class M.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully our rovers are just fine,
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting. It must be slow moving because this one that I'm reading, this Carrington flare from 1859, apparently only took 17.6 hours to get to the Earth.
Yeah, that was a large flare. Yeah.
Yeah. This one seems to be taking longer.
Positive how big that is. So we can't say that's like the largest one recorded or observed. We just have estimates. It could be a higher magnitude than the one that we saw shoot off in another direction. It could not be. It's hard to quantify without having the modern equipment that we have.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's very interesting.
Yeah. I'm just worried about our little rover.
Oh, yeah.
We put a robot on Mars, and he might just die.
Yeah. Well, but you said it's going to be on the opposite side.
Oh, it should be. It's hard to know exactly when it's going to hit.
Oh, okay.
And we're talking about a planet that has no functional magnetic shielding.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hopefully we'll be fine. We do put magnetic shielding on things that we put out into space. It does have some degree of protection as it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Flit says the sun is the real menace. But Flit, have you heard about trees?
Well, see, trees get their power from the sun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So think about that.
Yeah, they're in league together.
Yeah.
Oof.
We can't nuke the sun. There's like a bajillion, which I know isn't a real number, but I'm using it for emphasis. There's like a bajillion nukes going off inside the sun at all times. How are we going to nuke the sun?
1.8 bajillion, actually.
Yeah.
That's right.
Just by a fraction of a percent. Just make it stronger.
Yeah. That's right.
But I guess today's prize of points that mean nothing goes to Mr. Squeaker for, I guess, correctly guessing one of the things we were going to be talking about today before we brought it up.
Hey, that's right.
You get 1.3 thousand pointless points. They're like normal points, but less.
Yeah, the next person who wins gets a bajillion. Approximately 1 bajillion.
We should just block out the sun with black clouds. Okay, listen here, Bill Gates. Okay, well, you need to slow your roll.
That's right. Gonna shoot coof injections into the clouds or something.
Yeah, something.
Didn't Mr. Burns have an idea like that?
Maybe, I don't know. There's too many Simpsons.
Yeah.
And not enough good ones. That's the real problem. Right? Like I can watch if it happened in the first like 9 seasons. It's been a long time since I binged that, but then I should remember it, but I need to go back. I won't really watch anything after season 9 until like season, I think 22. It was close to whenever the movie came out. It got good for a little while again after the movie, and then it started getting crap again. It's not like South Park. I could watch literally any episode of South Park anytime, and I enjoy it. That show's just been consistent from day one.
Pretty good. I heard the last episode wasn't that good, but I don't know. I haven't seen it.
The last episode of South Park would have been the vaccination special, and I thought that thing was fucking hilarious.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I saw the pandemic special and I thought that was great,
Yeah,
but
that
I
was
didn't see
funny.
the back.
And this follows it up.
Hmm.
I think the problem is like some people just weren't. Some people are just never cool when they get made fun of. That's the real
Yeah, I
thing.
guess.
And South Park makes fun of everybody. Like I don't give a shit when they make fun of me. It's usually funny if I happen to fall in like
Hmm.
whatever small category they're making fun of. But they make fun of
Yeah.
like literally everyone. And I think the funniest moment. So they had like a bunch of different groups, right? That they were putting together. They were parodies of the group. So like QAnon started becoming tutors for kids who weren't at school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. So a group came out of it called the Little Cuties, and the Little
Oh,
Cuties
jeez.
were trying to stop um what was it was like the neighborhood kids or something like that. What was it? The community kids, but it was spelled with a K instead of C, and that was the four boys. They were the community kids who were trying to get the vaccination for their teacher so that they wouldn't have Mr. Garrison back as their teacher because he's no longer Trump
Oh, really?
anymore. Um, and so the Little Cuties show up is like trying to stop them from getting the vaccinations to people because they're now conspiracy theorists. And
Hmm.
Butters is just in the back, like, wait, Butters, you're part of them? I just wanted to believe in something that would get me out of the house. And I just lost it at that part.
That's funny.
No, I love South Park.
That
No,
was
the whole
the
thing was great. That
that,
was the vaccination
that was the
special.
last episode. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I'll have to watch it. Yeah, I
Yeah, yeah.
just
They
I,
haven't
I,
finished the season yet. So episode 2 of the season is just the vaccination special.
hmm. Have you seen this show, Invincible,
No, no.
on
You know what? I
Amazon?
might watch it just because I think it's over now. And I don't like the
Hmm.
hype of most things while they're going on. I want to wait for it to settle so I could get into it. But I heard J.K.
Yeah.
Simmons was the one playing Omni Man. I'm fairly familiar with the comic it came from. And I
Hmm.
really like J.K. Simmons, so that's probably enough to get me to eventually watch it.
Yeah. Well, I watched the first 3 episodes and they were
Yeah.
great, but it's a little hard to watch. In fact, it was a little bit, a little rough of a show. I mean, just
Yeah.
just keep in mind it's a little bit icky. I mean,
What do you mean by icky?
a little graphic. Let's put it that way.
Oh, that
It's a
doesn't
little
bother me at
graphic,
all.
but it was just surprising. I guess I probably just wasn't in the mood, so I haven't watched any after the first 3 episodes. But I won't say it's not good. It's just graphic. It's very adult, but as long as you're all right with that, it
Oh yeah, no,
seemed good.
that shit
So
never bothers me.
yeah, I'll have to watch the rest.
Animated
Oh,
series
Flip says it
blows. Read the
blows.
books. Okay. But does
Well,
J.K.
if you have
Simmons at
access
least
to
still
it,
do a good job? That's all I care about.
I mean, it's his voice.
Yeah.
It's recognizable, I guess.
Well, what I thought was funny is I
Everyone else
saw a
didn't.
meme. What was it? It was
Yeah.
a hard drive. This satirical site, and they had wrote that Jeff Bezos thinks it's okay to fund 2 series that paint Lex Luthor's arch nemesis as the bad guy, and it was The Boys and Invincible are both paid by Amazon, and they
Hmm.
were commissioned back when Bezos was still the CEO of Amazon.
Hmm.
And I don't know, man. That dude is just slowly turning into Lex Luthor. Just everything about him. Like we've always
Yeah.
joked that he was Lex Luthor, but more and more, like there was him inside that power suit type thing that they were developing, like the aliens power suit. It's like it's just making even more like Lex Luthor.
Yeah. I think I've said before, I tried to watch The Boys and I can't get past like
Oh, I didn't
the
like it.
second episode.
I
I
don't
was
like the
just
main
like, this
character.
is so freaking, yeah. Like the main like hero guy or
Well, from
the
like the
guy
first
who's
two
like
episodes, they were kind of painting what's her face. The chick is like the main character.
I don't even remember. It's been
Yeah,
so long.
it was like
Wasn't there
Starling
a
or something
guy
like
that?
that.
Oh, right, right.
I don't like her.
I don't know. It
And
was
she's the
so
sad part is
freaking
she's like the
boring.
most likable person out of their group of people too, and I don't like her.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they're not supposed to be likable.
Yeah. Well,
But
the thing is, even if you make like horrible people, there has to be
mhm,
some redeeming characteristic to each person. Because if you just have a bunch of like stupidly horrible people, like, okay, what's the point of this? How am I supposed to connect
mhm,
to any of the characters?
yeah. Yeah, I
You
don't
know,
I don't want to watch just a bunch of horrible people who I hate who, you know. I want to have some character that I can identify with, or
yeah.
they don't have to look like me, but I have to, connect with them somehow.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't even care if it's a bad guy. Sometimes the bad guy
Yeah,
is the cool person to follow. But like every good bad guy has they don't have to be a sympathetic villain. They just have to have a single redeemable characteristic. Because honestly,
yeah.
most sympathetic
Or just
villains suck.
or something that just makes them
Yeah.
interesting.
Like, who was a good villain that had a lot of redeemable characteristics, but you were like rooting him on, but also like fuck this guy the whole time? Was freaking
Hmm.
Light from Death Note. And he was the main guy in Death Note who was
Uh,
writing everybody. He was Kira.
mhm.
And he's the villain though, but he's the main character and you're kind of like rooting for him. Even though from the very beginning, spoilers to anybody, but Ryuk tells you what's going to happen in the very first episode. If he ever gets caught,
Mhm.
Ryuk is going to write his name down in his Death Note himself. And he does in the last episode of the show.
Good to know. I've not seen
Yeah.
it.
But it tells you
So,
exactly what's going to happen at the very beginning of the show.
yeah. Joshua says memes are how things get popular.
Memes were always how things got
Well,
popular.
but I was watching Invincible before the memes started.
You know, because
But yeah,
memes.
that's isn't that the point
Yeah, yeah.
of memes?
Well, so a meme is just you've got memes, you got genes. Genes are informations that are passed down from generations genetically. Memes are information that's passed directly from one person to another. So we've got
Mhm,
genetic reproduction and mimetic reproduction. And a meme is basically just, passing things down through the grapevine. Our languages are memes, religions are memes. Everything that we communicate directly between each other is just a meme. So by default, memes are how literally anything gets popular, except for physical characteristics. Which even then, that's slightly mimetic, right? Because if you can slightly
mhm,
influence people's attraction based on cultural practices, you can somewhat influence how generations in the future will look.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching Invincible before. It was cool. I mean, I started watching it by the time the third episode came out. So
Yeah.
whenever that was,
Death to all
I hadn't
hipsters.
I hadn't heard of it, and I hadn't seen anyone else talk about it. I happened to run across it on Amazon, and I was like, "Oh, this looks interesting," and had never heard of it before. Thing is, you're talking about memes. Memes have been around since before the word existed. So,
Yes. It all comes from meme theory, which is a really, really old subject. We just use it more loosely this way, but it's still
mhm,
appropriate how we use it because
yeah,
we use it for things that kind of almost seem to take on a life of their own and reproduce on their own on the internet, but they're still just the same ideas.
yeah,
Yep, yep, yep.
cool,
Meme world. That we do
and,
live in meme world. We always have,
yeah,
and we're the only creatures that we know of that exist in meme world until we create synthetic intelligence. Because or unless some other creature achieves sentience. Well, I mean, technically they're sentient. Sapience is what we're actually looking at. Because sentience is just empathy, which a lot of creatures have. Sapience. Um,
mhm,
if like chimps or something get smart enough to start understanding mimetic practices, then we'll no longer be the only people living in meme world. It'll be a slightly
mhm,
less lonely place.
yeah.
Yep.
Flit, if you want to be in a group, Flit seems lonely. You could always, if just let me know if you want me to join you to the Dillard group because We have like offline calls where we just chat about shit.
That would involve
You're
him being
welcome
on
to
Twitter,
join.
and why would he want to go to that hellscape?
Well, then say something in the. You're on the Discord group, right? The RPG boys.
Yeah, he's in the RPG Boys, which
Nick,
we,
I'll
as far
tell
as
you
I
what.
know, there's no reason for us to cancel this week, so we should still be having it on Sunday as normal.
Right. Well, the next time Dillard wants to have an offline call, I will copy the link to the RPG boys on Discord, and you can join if you like, and you can chat about animation or whatever you like.
Or
So
you
that's
can
a lot
hop
we
in for
fun.
2 seconds, say fuck you, and then leave. That's always a fun thing to
Yeah,
do.
that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I won't be here Thursday.
No, you will
So
not.
just
I may not be here Thursday. I don't know. I'll let you know by tomorrow whether there's even going to be a show on Thursday or not.
yeah, but otherwise I will be here on the rest of the days.
Yeah. With that, though, it is the end of our show. It's already 9 o'clock. Thank you, everybody, for showing up and for watching this later on. If you enjoy the show, please share it with somebody else who you think might enjoy it. Or if you really, really appreciate what we do here, possibly just throw a buck over at streamlabs.com/vomitorium live. For people who watch it live, I'm actually, maybe in the future, I'm going to just put a small little donation bar at the bottom. It's just going to say buy Metal a pizza. It's actually not going to be for a pizza. It's going to be, what's it called? For the funds, the $25 I spend between the hosting and also the monthly fee for Roll20, since that affects this show. But, it costs about as much as it does for me to order a pizza with Grubhub and stuff, because that stuff gets expensive. So I'm just, put or get Metal a pizza, and that'll cover the monthly fees for the Vomitorium. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.